Namaskaram. Greetings to Carla.
Oh, thank you.
And Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad Saab.
Walaikum assalam.
The topic is best friend. Last time we had a topic on which we were dialoguing on how to create a friendship, what is friendship. And now today we have to make it the best. So the adjective best need to be qualified, because what is best for me have to be best for the other person whom I choose as my friend. For my purpose, if friendship is for a purpose, as long as the purpose is served, I keep saying, oh, he was my best friend. He was my best friend. That means presently he is not my best friend. During my school time, I had a best friend. So what has happened to him now? He is not with you. So the time and space, the activity in which we connect to people, for that specific time, the best is best. So there is nothing called best forever. We are always refining ourselves. We are moving from one to another. Activity, place, we keep growing. But there is a big but. There are still people who are connected to us, irrespective of what we do, what position we reach, how many other friends we have, how many people we have crossed across, how many people we have seen, had friendship, left. There are quite a few. We are still in contact. Though we were not in connection for so long, when we talk, we feel that as if he was with me just a moment back, or maybe yesterday I had a conversation with him. There are such connections where recalling is very fast, getting connected to them is very fast. Irrespective of the time gap, we are able to link to them, connect to them. So we are not giving up such a friendship. I feel that is the real best friendship. Beyond the time, beyond space, beyond action, beyond the test, beyond the need. Surpassing all this, not equal to anyone else, not on temporary basis, for no reason. It is just in your heart. Oh, I feel so happy. So when I have a success, I have something to share, someone to share. When I have a real failure, I have someone to share. He may not share the real activity. He is not going to suggest. She is not going to suggest what I am supposed to do. He is not an advisor. He is not higher knowledgeable. But still, I find solace, peace, happiness. I can be relaxed after talking to him for some time. I think that is what the real friendship is. And that is what the best friend. So if I can find someone like that, I'm sure every one of us can have such friends. I'm blessed to have such, not one, I have such friends around. They still keep connected. Not that we are connected every day and out, that they know what I'm doing, everything is not known. But yes, keep talking sometime, keep meeting sometime, go back to my native. I don't stay in the place where I took birth. I don't stay in the place where I had my education. I don't stay in the place where I worked. I keep moving. So all these places I have got few people. Some places, yes, the connection is still on for long years. This is what I wanted to share as a beginning remarks on what is best friend and how and where and when we could find them what is the definition according to me. Thank you, Carla. I think friends can criticize you, correct you, support you, give references. You think that yes, oh, I want something from somebody else. He will be able to lead you to the right person through contacts. So it gives you connections, it gives you references, it gives you confidence. Oh, if I go to him, I know he is not able to help, but he can always lead me to the right place. And in case if I go to a wrong place, if I have a good friend, best friend, I'm sure he is going to correct me saying that that's not the right place. So it could be through scolding, it could be through identifying where I went wrong, correcting me, suggesting me. All that is possible. So a friend can be an advisor sometime. He can also be a critic, a thorough critic. There is nothing called good and bad words. There is nothing called good suggestions and bad suggestions. It's only the views people make. If I have a liberty to make my views, saying that, hey Muhammad, this is not correct. Whether you accept it or not is a different matter. If I have that courage to speak to you, that means I have considered you as my friend. If I tell Carla, oh, you look at, this is not the way to do it. If I tell something like this, it's as good as sometime I may tell, yeah, well done, very good. So if somebody thinks that finding ways of corrections, suggestions, criticism is not friendship, that's where something has gone wrong between people. It's not that I have hatred towards somebody, I don't like somebody. It's only that action done by that person is not acceptable to me. So if I say that action done by that person is not acceptable to me, basically means I accept that person. Only that action is not acceptable to me. If that person is not acceptable to me, I can ignore them. So a best friend is I accept that person. That doesn't mean whatever he or she does is acceptable to me. So I can make my suggestions, I can make my criticism, I can make my views clear saying that no, I don't agree with you. Still if they are with you, still if they consider you as close to you, that is the real friendship. That's what I mean. So there has to be no filtering of communication. There has to be an open communication. There are no inhibitions. That is honesty. If I am holding something and I don't show that, that means I am not honest to myself. If I am not honest to myself, how can I be honest to my friend? If you have that liberty to somebody to speak open, I am sure that is the best friendship which I believe. And that needs to be accepted from both sides. Then that friendship will continue. Otherwise, today you may patch up, today you may not break up, but I'm sure a day will come when people don't get into the same frequency. It can happen because activities keep changing. So friendship is between people, but not between activities. That has to be understood very carefully. That's what I believe. Thank you, Carla.
So, do you have a best friend, and how did that connection start?
Yeah, I have many of them, not few of them. Many of them were in school days. I had somebody who was really a good friend of mine, and that friendship came with a very funny activity. Carla, he used to have beautiful fragrant flowers in his house, and he used to make garlands out of it. And that collected flowers making garland is not a costly business for him. I was so much attracted towards that flower garland. So we don't have money those days to exchange. So what I offer is a pencil or maybe an eraser, and for that he will give me the garland. But then one day, whatever I offered, he didn't accept. He said, no, I want something different. So in fact, what I did was, I took my mother's a bit of a gold chain which was broken, and then piece was there. I gave that to him. A gold piece was given as an exchange for a normal flower garment, and then he got it. In fact, my friend took that gold piece to his house and then asked him, how did you get it? He said, it's from this boy. So the whole family came back to return it. See the trust of the people. They came back to return it. And I was exposed to the whole people that I have taken some small gold piece from my mother and then gifted. I was never scolded. I was a pet of my family. But that person is still with me. It must have happened 50 years back. I don't speak to him. Probably for last 1 year I did not speak to him. But if I go back to my village, when we meet, we speak as if yesterday it happened, yesterday we met. Right. So from childhood onwards, I have got so many such good friends. College days, I have got a different story to tell on a different friend. University level, I have got somebody else. My students who are with me for long years, I've got a friendship which is unbreakable friendship, right? So many such instances gave, and that, I think that is the credit of my life. I've got so many such instances which makes me to remember. It's not the material cost. It is the bondage which created out of that relationship, trust, and that openness, that clarity which we had, and no argument, acceptance, no complaints against each other. I think that's what is friendship. So I had Carla, wonderful question. Thank you for taking back to my childhood and then making me to speak like this. Thank you. Probably the agreement or disagreement, or when I said references, I said a good friend is one who give me references. So references.
What is references?
Yeah, that reference can be person, it can be an action, it can be a new direction. So I agreed already saying that my friend may have a divergent activities in which, or maybe connections in which he knows this path is right, and then he could suggest. Whether I accept it or not is my choice. So who is a good friend? If I accept or don't accept, the friendship still remains. Just because I don't accept what he says, he is not going to disregard me, or maybe he is not going to care. That friendship which is very strong, we are not talking about friendship for an action. We are talking about the best friend. So I believe it doesn't depend on any activity. There may be a lot of activities we keep discussing, many things we will disregard, many things we will keep discussing and say, oh, we could do this, that person did it. When somebody is referring saying that, oh, one of my friend was doing this business, indirectly he may be suggesting you it's also good for you. Otherwise that point need not come. I have not given my ear. So I am not interested in that topic. So what do? I divert into something else and then talk about something else. In a friendship, I have got that liberty to change topics, change subjects, change references, without even giving a notice that I am not interested. I think that is what is conversation. So between friends, there is a conversation. Assume that I am attending a program and I cannot say in between I am not interested in this topic, because it's a communication. It's a very formal program in which we are doing it. So between friends, we have more conversation, more informal. Between people who wanted to do business, people we wanted to do some activities, people who wanted to conference, they all talk about same topic for a very specific purpose. So friendship is too vast, too much of spread across, jump from one subject to another subject, one direction to another direction, one reference to another reference. I may accept, I may cling on to that for a second discussion, opening up. It's like very, very casual. I think that is where friendship is. It is not expecting if I have this friend, I will get this business. And that's not friendship then. So it's nothing to do with the materialistic. It is a blend of, earlier also I mentioned, I need to physically feel happy about sitting with him, so frequency matches. There is equal brain so that I know what I am discussing is understood by him. What he is discussing is also understood by him. I am not a nut, he is not a nut. So we go hand in hand, right? Emotionally, there is a bondage that is created from the frequency in which look and feel, acceptability between sitting together, sharing hand, holding hand, sharing cup of tea together. And that circle in which he is, that circle in I am, there is a frequency match. This is what happens between politicians to politicians, academicians to academicians, business people to business people. So the society to society, there is a match. I don't think if somebody is very good in sports and then other person is only good in politics, they start talking, then it doesn't work well. Very rarely we will find people who work well with different styles. Above all, I am sure we are all connected. Above all these physical, emotional, intellectual, social is the spiritual connection. For such people, there is no specific compartment. They can easily penetrate into any of these activities, talk to them, because they have a wavelength which is much higher. And any frequency wavelength goes merge into the bigger wave. So if you are spiritually higher, you can adapt, you can make people to feel comfortable under the bigger wave, though other fellow is fluctuating too much. So if somebody is able to absorb into many of the discussions, that means he is spiritually higher. He is able to accommodate many people. This is what I wanted to add at this point. Thank you.
Is there really spirituality hierarchy that this person is higher than another? Or is there a feeling of we're all united and we help each other grow spiritually?
Yeah, Carla, there is no measure for spirituality. If somebody says I am highly spiritual and somebody is low spiritual, there is nothing like that. I think it's
But
like...
you just said that. You said something different. This person is higher, this person is lower.
Yeah, what I was
Now,
telling...
I'm tired. I may not be as clear on what you're saying, but go on.
Yeah, what I was telling was the physical, emotional, intellectual, social and spiritual at the highest level. So among the spiritual, one spiritual person to another spiritual person, I don't think there is a measure. So I am not comparing the spiritual person to spiritual person. I am talking about fivefold. The spirituality is the highest, wherein the other becomes under that fold. So if somebody is spiritually higher, that means his importance on other fourfold is not much. He will be able to accommodate anybody under that very easily. That is what I think a good mentor, a spiritual mentor is able to do. A person who can direct people with the spirituality does that activity. It is not to compare X is spiritual and Y is spiritual, whether X is more spiritual or Y is more spiritual. It's all like a comfort level. It's all like relation building, understanding your level in which you wanted to find intellectually whether, oh, this person is able to give me logic behind what he does. This person is able to get into the root with references. This person has got a specific branch in which he has grown his original thoughts. And that original thought is not just a copy of learning some scriptures and then blah blah blah. He is able to think by himself. He created knowledge inside him so that he can share it much better. So that need to be understood by dialoguing, discussing, being with them. That's what we call it as good company, satsang. good company. Be with such people with the good company so that you realize, oh, this person is slightly realized than, and I have got something to learn extra to get into that attraction level. That's what it means. I think whether somebody contributes to your activity, whether somebody gives you a direction, yeah, maybe you can rate him as your good friend, best friend. It's always positive. To see somebody contributing to you is something great. So I'm talking about a friendship without a purpose, a friendship without a motive, a friendship which will not add any materialistic value in my life, who is not going to share the same brain what I have. But still I can have friends. So I am sure a friend is not, though there are proverbs which we say, no, the friend indeed is a friend in need and all that. I believe that, no, assume that somebody is not able to contribute in your life. Does it mean that he cannot be your friend? Yes. Does it mean I am not able to contribute something to somebody? Does it mean he is not my friend? No. It's an emotional bondage. So contribution not in terms of a business, learning. It could be one part. That's what I said. Physical, emotional, intellectual, and social. Social connections, references, all these are part of social. Intellectual, giving a new idea of business. Yes. That alone need not be the reason. See, for example, Muhammad, it happened to be a good friend who has given a thought to him, maybe helped him in making up a direction. We are not talking about an individual, me and you as a case, I think. Generally, I have got someone where I can share. Whether some new ideas will come or not, it's a different problem. I don't think I am going back to my mother's lap to sleep, saying my problems in my office for giving solutions to the problems which I had. No, it may be an HR problem, which she may not be able to solve my problem. But still, I find an emotional bondage where I can take rest, relax, open up my mind, open up my thoughts. We need someone to listen to me. That's only what I'm saying. So the real friendship need not get into any of these 5 folds. It could be any of this also. And today it is good. We have many more days to go. So where do you understand what is the real friendship? Probably some people thought that, oh, we are very close to each other, but after some time, yeah, it was rubbish. Those days were really, he spoiled or she spoiled my life. That also can happen, right? So probably we need to wait for long and long and long to find out what is real friendship. So when it is for a purpose, if it doesn't work, probably now Muhammad is able to say that, yeah, he's a good friend of mine because he made success in your path. Suppose with that suggestion you have wasted a lot of years and then say, oh, he spoiled my life, also can be a bad friendship, right? That's only what I meant. Yeah. Carla asked a beautiful question, whether the Facebook friendship can be a friendship or not. I'll tell you, when I get a friend like Muhammad, if I'm adding him in my Facebook, I'll tell you, next day morning I can see 20 friends requests from Pakistan who are friends of Muhammad to me. And what do I do is, I'll send them a message asking, what is that your interest where we match, and what is that you think we could discuss together. Sometime I get a funny answer. It's only a name which I'm bringing Muhammad because Muhammad is here. No other ways. He says, Muhammad has given me a task of identifying 50 common friends. That's a task given to me. So I just asked you because I want to finish the quota given by Muhammad. You understood? It's so funny today. The friendship creation has been as an assignment given to students by some of the masters, so that the master can find different pockets of friendship all across the country. I have seen for last 3 years on Facebook. Can you imagine 3 years somebody grabs 200 doctorates, honorary doctorates, and he is director, executive director of many associations, It's all through Facebook friendship. I'm sure he must be spending hours together talking to people, making friends, creating connections, marketing himself. So I'm sure I'm connected to Carla and Muhammad today because of Facebook only. Right? Very rarely we see people who have got a content, who has got a quality where the match happens. So if I can take the credit of saying Carla is my friend through whom I got Muhammad as a friend. And now Muhammad says, yeah, we like to discuss things. That rarely happens through Facebook. And probably this is only 1 year, 2 years of our interaction. We are not talking about friends who interact on very specific program for some time. I have done maybe thousands of webinars every day. This is my third program today. It's almost reaching 11 o'clock. Morning, I started early morning 8 o'clock. So it's almost 15 hours now. Running my full program without much break. So it happens. So how many faces we will see? Physically, I must have seen 400 people today. Do all of them become friends just because they send me a WhatsApp message, send a selfie with us? They doesn't. Because it takes long test. It's like I told we must have lot of dialogue, understand each other. It doesn't happen over a cup of tea, and it doesn't break over a cup of tea also. Right? It doesn't matter what I contribute and what somebody else contribute to me. That is a professional relationship, a professional contract, but that is entirely different from friendship. Association is not, we can associate people on different programs. So associating people, taking activities together, that doesn't become a friendship. The best friendship becomes over lot of litmus test. I think that it needs, its time and space need to be really understood to know whether you are my best friend. And how many you can have, it depends on how good heart you have and how much variety of interest you have, how much time you can spare. Right? Assume that you make a call and then say, oh, you are not taking my call, you are not my friend, and start fighting. You should also know that this person is not over a call. I can talk to him for hours together, cannot make you friendship, right? So sometimes you can have trouble with the friendships and people discard them, ignore them. Lot of things happens. So still beyond the time, beyond interest, beyond place, beyond geographical locations, if we can create people. I've got a lot of such people. I have got great friends which for the last 3 years I connected through music. I conducted an international music program to know who has the taste of music. So I had people from at least 50 different countries who are coming and teaching each one of us. It's not listening to somebody's song and then giving dialogues. Teach me your song, 4 lines. I will teach my song, 4 lines. So it was like a learning together, teaching together. We had a wonderful program. Almost a month, every week I was conducting such a program. So very few of them, though I stopped the program, they are still in contact with me. So I'm sure when some people stop the program, still they are in contact with you. That means they were not with you for that program. They are with you irrespective of whether the program happens or not. So I'm sure that is what is friendship.